All right, greetings everyone. Welcome to the final video for section 2.4. Just have one more thing to go over. And that, in this case, is this value of R here and what it means. So recall when we turned on our diagnostic on our calculators and did our linear regression calculation, we got this value for R here. And so we want to understand what this means. So first of all, that value for R is called the correlation coefficient. And more or less what it does is it tells us how linear is the data we're looking at. How close to a line is it? And basically the way it goes is that the closer that the absolute value of that value for R is to 1, the more linear your function is. So in the case of the data we're looking at here, we have an R value that is 0.92. That's fairly close to 1. Which means that our data must be fairly linear. And if we go to the graph of that here from that we did earlier, you'll see, yeah, that line or that data looks pretty close to a line, right? It's not exactly a line, which is why it's not 1, but it's pretty close at 0.92. Okay. And so if we look at this graphic I have in the PowerPoint here, we can see what scatter plots might look like for different values of R. So notice for the ones over there on the far left, okay, where it's equal to 1 exactly, positive 1. Notice in those cases, the scatter plot perfectly forms a line. And then notice what the slope of those lines are. They're all positive, right? Which is why it's a positive 1. Then notice as we start to move down, right, to less than 1, well, here at 0.8, still kind of looks linear, right? Or a linear shape, but it's a little bit more spread out. At 0.4, we're definitely starting to lose any semblance of a shape of a line, although it does still kind of look like it's sloping up. But then at 0, there's no semblance of a line whatsoever, right? Just a bunch of kind of random dots. But then as we go to the negative side, right? So first of all, notice here at -1. Okay, well those are values, for those values of R, notice that the data again forms a perfectly straight line. And then it's negative, which means it's sloping down. At -0.8, it still kind of looks like a line. Not totally, but we can see that it's sloping down there. And then at -0.4, again, we're kind of starting to lose that linear shape, but we can still see that it is sloping down. Okay, so again, correlation coefficient, which is the value of R, tells us how linear our function is. And for these ones down here at the bottom, in case you were wondering, notice that they all have a correlation coefficient of 0, and even though they're really pretty designs, notice they are not linear at all. So that's why those all have a correlation coefficient of 0. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for watching. That's it for now.